feeling a lot better, excited to get back into practice today, and then feeling really, really positive about getting back into one of the games at the back-to-back. Obviously, difficult coming back in a back-to-back, so we'll have to be cautious of that. But I feel a lot better, and like I said, excited to get back into practice. And this week has been very helpful for my overall health. So other than that, if you guys have any questions, I know I kind of just ranted for a while, but feeling a lot.
Okay. She said difficulty coming back in a back-to-back.
The face of the new WNBA is sidelined. Caitlin Clark, the player who shattered scoring records and dragged women's basketball into the mainstream, is standing on the precipice of her own body failing her, while the league around her burns. The brutal reality of professional basketball is that it doesn't care about your ratings or your legacy. It only cares about your durability. And right now, Caitlin Clark's body is screaming at her. The schedule has become her enemy. It's not just about a sprained ankle. It is the cumulative toll of a brutal physical campaign. Caitlin Clark has become the target of a league that views her as an outsider, a phenomenon that has outgrown the sport that birthed her. The initial reports sounded routine, a day-to-day injury. But as the clock ticks and the schedule reveals a back-to-back against the Mercury, the story twists. Caitlin Clark is officially out for Sunday, but the deeper story isn't about the ankle. It is about the brutal controversy that has followed her every step. We are witnessing the collision of two worlds. On one side, Caitlin Clark, the generational talent, trying to navigate the impossible pressure of being the chosen one. On the other, a league of hardened veterans who view her with a mix of jealousy and resentment. The fans are erupting not just because she is hurt, but because the WNBA seems to be failing to protect her. The controversy isn't just the flagrant fouls, it's the narrative that Caitlin Clark is being hunted. The schedule is the weapon, and the physicality is the ammunition. With Caitlin Clark out, the league loses its gravitational center, and the tension reaches a boiling point.
Probably start. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions, and obviously I haven't been available for like a week or so. So, first of all, I know what you guys are going to ask, and I did think it was a flagrant foul, and our reffing just needs to be better. And it's tough. Obviously, the refs are in a really difficult spot. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world, in my opinion, is to make calls. All you do is get yelled at the whole time by everybody. You're never winning. So I think for us, as the league's just got to do better protecting our players in that regard. I don't really think that it was up for debate.
Caitlin Clark is doing something that should be standard but feels revolutionary. She is demanding the league protect its players. The league's just got to do better protecting our players, Clark stated. This isn't just a complaint about a single play. It is a massive indictment of the WNBA's officiating and its culture. Caitlin Clark is publicly challenging the status quo, calling out the referees and the league office for allowing a physical environment that borders on dangerous. She points to a discussion for 3 years now, proving this is an institutional failure. But by speaking up, Caitlin Clark is isolating herself further. The long-term strategic consequence is that the league is now forced into a corner. By demanding technology and full-time referees, Caitlin Clark is using her platform to force a structural change. The brutal controversy is no longer just about the foul. It is about the culture that permits it. The league fears that if they over-officiate for Clark, they validate the claims that she is treated differently. If they under-officiate, they risk her career. Meanwhile, the fans are erupting online, dividing into camps. Those who see Clark as a martyr fighting a corrupt system, and those who see her as a privileged star asking for special treatment. The context is brutal. The Mercury game on the 9th is looming, and if Clark sits that out, it signals that the Fever are managing her minutes for the long haul, surrendering short-term wins for long-term health. This isn't just a rest day. It's an admission that Caitlin Clark is a fragile commodity in a violent marketplace.
I think it's difficult. I think a lot of people sometimes think I'm a robot. I'm not a robot. I have emotions, I have feelings, and it can be really difficult to go through a lot of that. And, I'm 24 years old trying to navigate a lot, and I think at times I've been in this world for 4 years now, and you would never change any of it, but there are times that it is hard, and there are times that it probably affects me a little bit more than I do put on, and I would never change any of that for the world, but I think it's important that people do remember that part of it too. So
I'm not a robot, Caitlin Clark says. This is the moment the mask slips. For months, The narrative has been that Clark is unflappable. But the reality, as she reveals, is that she is a 24-year-old who is trying to navigate a lot. This is the unique, shocking truth of the controversy. The hatred online, the physical punishment on the court, and the pressure to be perfect are affecting her. She admits that it affects me a little bit more than I do put on. This vulnerability is rare in professional sports. She is humanizing herself to a public that has begun to treat her as a concept rather than a person. This compares directly to previous league eras. Women's basketball has always been physical, but it has never had a target as large as Caitlin Clark. In the past, physicality was a badge of honor. Now it is a survival test. The coaching decisions have to adapt. Her coach's earlier unhinged rant, as the transcript calls it, reveals a team under siege. The coach is fighting external battles, while Clark is fighting internal demons and physical injuries. The tactical gameplay changes require Clark to be smarter. She can't just run through screens and attack the rim recklessly anymore. She has to learn to pick her spots. But the league's response has been inconsistent. As Clark noted, nobody wanted to talk about that when her teammates played well. The narrative is always drawn to the controversy, which is mentally exhausting. The most unique clip here is her confession. It shows that the player of the month is bleeding, just not on the court. She is emotionally bruised by the brutal controversy.
Fire and the fun, like, that's why you play this game. And I think it kind of goes back to a little bit of my frustration. Like, I remember seeing a headline is like, and I don't remember who wrote this, and I try to stay away from social media as much as I can, but sometimes it can be hard. Like, I need to be aware of certain things, and obviously my team makes me aware of certain things. And it was like, the headline read like, this season has been everything but fun, and just full of frustration for Clark and the Fever. And I'm like, no one ever asked me that. Nobody ever asked me that. Like, that's wrong. Like,
Clark's frustration boils over here. She reveals that the media narrative has painted her season as full of frustration, but she pushes back. No one ever asked me that. Like, that's wrong. Caitlin Clark is trying to control the narrative, insisting that people discuss my play and not the drama. This is the high-stakes climax. If she can't control the narrative and she can't stay healthy, the league's future is at risk. The ratings, the money, the expansion, all of it hinges on the durability of one person. Predictions are grim. The back-to-back is a trap. Playing against the Mercury, a team known for physicality, is a risk the Fever might not be willing to take. The suspicion is that she won't return until July 12th. Why? Because Clark is a long-term asset, not a short-term fix. The Fever's front office has to look at the bigger picture. This is the moment where the franchise decides, do they sacrifice her body for a playoff push, or do they preserve her for a dynasty? The brutal controversy has forced Clark to be the voice of reason, condemning hate while the world around her erupts. She is taking the high road, which is a personality trait that stands in stark contrast to the jealous league. The final piece of the puzzle is that she needs an advocate, an agent who will fight for her in the boardroom. The football agent comment suggests she needs a protector. The future of the WNBA is currently resting on a sore ankle, and the clock is ticking down to July 12th. If she returns, the narrative resets. If she doesn't, the chaos continues.